Shubor nakaslem jong unongsan Hima.
Ka Office jong ka State Education Mission Authority ka jala harangkat ka jingitray lang bat ka Meghalaya Bharat Scouts and Guide Shillong hakapratrik unailar arjar arpway kala Rakhe ya ka World Literacy Day jong usnam arhajar arpway ya ka bla shat penlong bat Rakhe manla usnam bat ka team kabalabu menta usnam kadai Literacy for Human Centered Recovery narrowing the dignity divide. Hakte ke jinglang kabala penlong hapo ka Meghalaya Bharat Scout and Guide Auditorium layadon lang da uba DP wa lang Additional Chief Secretary kajela kum ukongsan usri AC kum ukongsan u ACH Marak IS Secretary Education kajela lembat kiway.
Started in 1966 as declared by UNESCO and celebrated for the first time in 1967. So every year we have been celebrating. The whole idea and the whole objective of this day is to raise awareness about the importance of literacy as a matter of dignity and human rights. This is the main objective of observing the World Literacy Day. The aim is to make sure that we have a more literate and sustainable society by advancing literacy. How do we advance literacy? By imparting education to all those who are within the purview of getting educated, and also, as we have seen, to bring those who are out of schools and out of institutions, who are out of the system, to mainstream them and to bring them back to the educational system. Now the theme in this year is very important and very eye-catching. The theme of the World Literacy Day this year is human-centered recovery to narrow the digital divide. Recovery from what is the first question. Recovery from the impact the pandemic had in the last 2 years on the educational system. So how do we recover? We can recover, of course, by what we are resorting to, that is using technology. That is the most effective way. But to have a proficient and an optimal solution to this, we need digital inclusion. Now, are all the students covered digitally? That's the first question. We have not conducted any formal survey, but a random sampled survey made through telephone calls, made through conversations across the state will tell us that digital inclusion is still a dream. In fact, in the urban areas, only between 50 to 60% of the students have been able to access the classes, whether it's classroom learning or digital contents or using other tools like WhatsApp or Google Classrooms. Only between 50 to 60% in urban areas. In rural areas, only between 20 to 25% have been able to access, and that too, we are talking about upper primary section upwards. That is class 5 upwards, class 6 upwards, sorry. Talking about class 1 to class 5, especially in the rural areas, I can tell you that the situation is not very pleasing. That is the reason why we decided very quickly that schools should be started in the state. Amidst the pandemic, we still have a high positivity rate, but we had to take a call because of this challenge of digital inclusion, or rather digital exclusion. Now, we thought of opening the schools right from the month of August, but then the situation was not conducive at all at that point of time. Even now, many states are still not fully open. We have decided to open urban and rural, segregate them in different categories. Why? Because of this challenge that only about 20% are getting access to digital education in rural areas. Therefore, in rural areas, we say that, and we have given this permission that from class 6 upwards, they can go for classes, and class 1 to class 5, they can go to the schools, or the teachers can visit the students. There is no question of a student of class 1 to class 5 holding a mobile or a smartphone in the rural area. It's impossible. If somebody is thinking of that is being accomplished, it is totally false. It is not at all realistic. It's not at all pragmatic. Therefore, we have allowed the students to go to classroom. We have allowed the teachers to go for home visits as of today. All this to ensure what we found out in the survey, that there is a huge gap between urban and rural areas.
So this is very much, though our government was the first also to ban the sale of e-cigarettes, and but still people, our students, they are misinformed. They have this misconception that e-cigarettes are meant for harm reduction, but otherwise we do not believe in that. It is still bad. So we are working very hard. And so among the activities also, among the different sections of the Cigarettes and Other Tobacco Products Act also, we are facing a lot of challenges. So I would like to address that though the schools are complying to all the 11 activities of the guidelines, but we are facing a lot of challenges with issues which are happening outside the gates of the school. Vendors are selling rampantly the tobacco products, though the law is already there, no, Mr. Temsu, that there is no sale of tobacco products within 100 yards of any educational institution. So schools are complying, but their powers are limited only within the premises. So we are working very hard with the police department also, and that they should take their issue also seriously.
It would be a grave mistake, I can say, that if we believe that we can conform to the anachronistic concepts of education and be encumbered or be entangled in the rigmarole that we believe that that education has to be a certain way, or it is set in stone that education has to be imparted in a certain way. Education is a very important concept, and you can see it in various parts of the Constitution. As you all aware, that we have the fundamental rights, then we have the fundamental duties, we have the directive principles of state policy. Article 21A talks about the right to education. Education is enshrined in the Constitution as a fundamental right, and it is enforceable in the court of law. So we, as on part of the Legal Service Authority, have a mandate under the directive principles of state policy under Article 39A of the Constitution to impart legal education and to also make justice accessible to all. So the Supreme Court and the National Legal Service Authority have devised ways for all the state legal service authorities and the district legal service authorities to create awareness through these kind of programs or in collaboration with various departments.
Thank you.